دوستو سلام مصنوع سر سید احمد خان کی تعریف جتنی بھی کی جائے کم ہے. علی گڑھ سے تعلیم یافتہ لوگ دنیا بھر کے ہر ملک میں موجود ہیں اور خدمت خلق کا کام انجام دے رہے ہیں. سر سید احمد خان کے بارے میں آپ جانتے ہیں، مگر ان کے بارے میں تفصیل سے جاننا بھی ضروری ہے. تو اس لیے میں ایک مضمون کو آپ کے سامنے رکھنا چاہتا ہوں. اس سے آپ کو معلوم ہوگا کہ سر سید احمد خان کی خدمت کتنی ہے. تو آئیے اب میں مضمون کی طرف جاتا ہوں. سر سید احمد خان کی زندگی 1817 سے 1898 تھی. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was a great visionary, statesman and Muslim reformer of the 19th century, the like of whom is rare. He wanted to make the community and country progressive and take them forward on modern lines. His supreme interest was intellectual development of the people through modern education. He was the first Indian Muslim to contribute to the intellectual and institutional foundation of Muslim modernization in Southern Asia. Interests of community and country was dearer to him rather than anything else. He was successful in making the Muslims understand the importance of modern education and endeavor their best to achieve it in order to stand on their own legs and live a dignified life in accordance with Islamic thoughts. Allama اقبال says, مبتلائے درد کوئی عضو ہو روتی ہے آنکھ، کس قدر ہمدرد سارے جسم کی ہوتی ہے آنکھ. The eye weeps for the suffering of any and every part of the body. How sympathetic it is to the entire organism. To the Muslim community, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was and is like the eye which weeps for the suffering of any and every part of the body. The sufferings of the community worried him. He took an oath to reform, educate, and empower the Muslim community and was successful to a great extent in implementing it despite strong opposition from a section of the Muslim community, which hated the British and their language. Today, we can see the products of the Aligarh Muslim University adoring in every field of activity in India and other countries. They have earned a name for the community and country thanks to the Aligarh movement. Sir Syed's educational caravan reached everywhere, including Tamil Nadu, from where I hail. It inspired and encouraged people to take the modern education by establishing educational institutions. His birth and childhood. Sir Syed was born on 17th October 1817 in Delhi. His family was highly regarded by the Mughal dynasty. His maternal grandfather, Khaja Farid, was a wazir in the court of Akbar Shah II. His paternal grandfather, Sayyid Hadi, held a mansab of the title of Jawad Ali Khan in the court of Alamgir II. Sayyid Ahmad's father, Mir Muttaqi, was also close to Akbar Shah but rejected the position and titles offered to him due to his interest in mysticism. Perhaps he abhorred the way the materialistic world functioned. He died when Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was about 21 years of age. Mother Azizun Nisa Begum was, however, a strong-willed woman of clearly defined principles. She showed extraordinary interest in the education, character building, and upbringing of her son. She was a strict and God-fearing lady. His education. Sir Syed received his education under the old system prevailing at that time. He learned to read the Holy Quran under a female teacher at his home. After this, Maulvi Hamiduddin became his private tutor. He completed a course in Persian and Arabic and later took to the study of mathematics, which was a favorite subject of the maternal side of his family. He later took interest in medicine and studied some well-known books on the subject. At the age of 19, his formal education came to an end, but he continued his studies privately. He started taking a keen interest in the literary gatherings and cultural activities of the city. The passing away of his father left the family in financial difficulties, and after a limited education, he had no option but to work for his livelihood. Starting as a clerk with the East India Company in 1938, he qualified 3 years later as a sub-judge and served in the judicial department at various places. His vision, the supreme interest of Sir Syed's life was education in its wider sense. He wanted to create a scientific temperament among the Muslims of India and to make the modern knowledge of science available to them. He championed the cause of modern education at a time when all the Indians in general and Indian Muslims in particular consider it a sin to get modern education, and that too through English language. He began establishing schools at Muradabad in 1858 and Ghazipur in 1863. A more ambitious undertaking was the foundation of the Scientific Society, which published translations of many educational texts and issued a bilingual journal in Urdu and English. It was for the use of all citizens and were jointly operated by the Hindus and Muslims. In the late 1860s, there occurred some developments that were challenges to his activities. In 1867, he was transferred to Banaras, a city on the Ganga with great religious significance for Hindus. At the same time, a movement started at Banaras to replace Urdu, the language spoken by Muslims, with Hindi. This movement and the attempts to substitute Hindi for Urdu publications of the Scientific Society convinced Sayyid that he should do something. Thus, during a visit to England, he prepared plans for a great educational institution. They were a Muslim Cambridge. On his return, he set up a committee for the purpose and also started an influential journal, Tahzeeb al-Akhlaq, social reform for the uplift and reforms of the Muslims. A Muslim school was established at Aligarh in May 1875, and after his retirement in 1876, Sir Sayyid dedicated himself to make it a college. In January 1877, the Viceroy laid the foundation stone of the college. In spite of opposition to Sir Sayyid's projects, the college made rapid progress. In 1886, Sir Sayyid organized the All India Mohammedan Educational Conference, which met annually at different places to promote education and to provide the Muslims with a common platform. Sayyid advised the Muslims against joining active politics and to concentrate instead on education. Muslims generally followed his advice and abstained from politics. This advice is applicable even today. We have to concentrate our attention more on education for the uplift of the backward Muslim community in India. Many reports have clearly noted that the Muslims are educationally and economically more backward. Throughout his life, Sayyid Ahmad Khan showed concern with how Indian Muslims could adapt to intellectual and political change accompanying Western rule. His first mission became reinterpretation of Muslim ideology so as to reconcile tradition with Western education and science. He argued in several books on Islam that the Holy Quran rested on a deep appreciation of reason and natural law, and therefore did not preclude Muslim involvement in scientific methodology. These themes, mixed with a call for Muslim education, regularly appeared in his journals, the Mohammedan Social Reformer and the Aligarh Institute Gazette. Sayyid Ahmad's ideas became institutionalized despite criticism from some. In 1862, he formed the Scientific Society, and 13 years later, he assisted in establishing the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, which prospered and became the key intellectual center for Indian Muslims. The Aligarh Muslim University. The success of the college was largely due to his leadership and a curriculum embodying both Western and Oriental studies. His contribution, Sir Sayyid's contribution for the betterment and empowerment of the Muslims are great. His position in the judicial department left him time to be active in many fields. His career as an author in Urdu started at the age of 23. In 1847, he brought out an important book, Monuments of the Great, on the antiquities of Delhi. Even more important was his pamphlet, The Causes of Indian Revolt. His interest in religion was also active and lifelong. He wrote on the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and devoted himself to write several volumes of a modernist commentary of the Holy Quran. In these works, he explained how the Islamic faith could go with progressive scientific and political ideas of his time. His literary works. Sir Syed was a government civil servant and a scholar. The 1857 revolt was turning point in his life. The following are his important works. 1. Asrarus Sanadid. It is an archaeological masterpiece providing a wealth of information and countless historical monuments in Delhi from the 800 long Muslim rule. This book was published in 1847. 2. Asbab-e Baghawat-e-Hind, The Cause of Indian Revolt. This book was published in 1859 after the 1857 revolt, after witnessing the atrocities committed by the British on the inhabitants of Delhi. He saw an uncle, a cousin, and an aunt dying before his eyes. He saved his mother, but she died due to privation she had experienced. Muslims were the main targets of the government's wrath. 3. The Aligarh Institute Gazette. It was an organ of the Scientific Society started in 1866. It made the people think and use their wisdom. 4. Tahzeebul Akhlaq. It succeeded in making people realize the value of modern education. It also gave new directions to Muslim social and political thoughts. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's golden sayings. 1. Sons of MAO College, later Aligarh Muslim University, shall go forth throughout the length and breadth of the land to preach the message of free inquiry, of large-hearted tolerance, and of pure morality. 2. Acquisition of knowledge of science and technology is the only solution for the problems of Muslims. 3. Call me by whatever names you like. I will not ask you for any salvation, but please take pity of your children. Do something for them. Send them to the school, lest you should have to repent by not sending them. 4. We will remain humiliated and rejected if we do not make progress in scientific field. 5. Get rid of old and useless rituals. These rituals hinder human progress. 6. Superstition cannot be the part of Iman, faith. 7. The first requisite for the progress of a nation is the brotherhood and unity among sections of the society. 8. Yes, the main purpose of this college is to impart modern education to Muslims who are suffering because of lack of it. But this institution is for all, Hindus and Muslims alike. Both of them need education. 9. We, that is Hindus and Muslims, eat the same crop, drink water from the same rivers, and breathe the same air. As a matter of fact, Hindus and Muslims are the two eyes of the beautiful bride that is Hindustan. Weakness of any one of them will spoil the beauty of the bride. 10. We Hindus and Muslims have evolved a new language, Urdu. 11. I wish that youth of India should follow the example of young men and women of England who are religiously engaged in the hard work of industrial development of their country. 12. Look forward, learn modern knowledge, and do not waste time in studies of old subject of no value. 13. Ijtihad is the need of the hour. Give up unnecessary things, copying and following old values. 14. Do not show the face of Islam to others. Instead, show your face as the follower of true Islam, representing character, knowledge, tolerance, and piety. 15. We should not, by remaining ignorant and illiterate, tarnish the image of our able elders. 16. All human beings are our brothers and sisters. Working for their welfare is obligatory for Muslims. 17. Remember that the words Hindu and Muslim are only meant for religious distinction. Otherwise, all persons who reside in this country belong to one and the same nation. His achievements. Sir Syed's greatest achievement was his Aligarh movement, which was nothing but an educational venture. He established schools at Muradabad in 1859 and Ghazipur in 1863. He also founded a scientific society in 1864. When Sir Syed was posted at Aligarh in 1867, he started the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental School in the city. During his visit to England in 1869, he studied the British educational system and appreciated it. There are many other things. It is a long article. I want to finish it now. Dr. Allama Iqbal has said, the real greatness of Sir Syed consists in the fact that he was the first Indian Muslim who felt the need of a fresh orientation of Islam and worked for it. And even so many great personalities have said. about him. All these are available in the article on Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, written by Azhar Muhammad. Yes, friends, please listen to this video and try to understand the work Sir Syed Ahmad Khan undertook when there was opposition to modern education. Even now, we have to empower the Muslim community by higher education. We need both religious as well as modern education. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's slogan was that a true Muslim is one who should have Quran in one hand and science in the other. What a beautiful saying was it. Let us ponder over all these things left by the great Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Yes, friends, I finished now. Thank you for your listening. If you find that this video is important and there is need for us to understand what Sir Syed Ahmad Khan stood for, please forward it to others. Thank you.